So we're looking at the piece called Spooky Town, which is a great little piece for beginner and intermediate students, especially around this time of year, Halloween. We're getting excited about trick-or-treating and all of that. Now, if you were going to teach this strictly from the sheet music, I would say this piece is for the intermediate piano student or early intermediate piano student. But if you're teaching this to the beginner, and you can, and the mid-beginner, late beginner, wherever you decide to introduce this piece, it works really well as a rote piano teaching piece. Because when you see these low notes and these high notes on the staff with all the ledger lines, that's going to be really confusing for our mid to late beginners. But the piece, when it's broken down into its bare components, and that's the patterns, and in this case based upon the A minor triad, it becomes very easy to see what's going on, and even our beginners can break it apart and figure it out. I just taught this piece to a student in my studio. His name is Thomas. He's doing a fantastic job on it, and now he's working on speed, and he's a mid-beginner. I mean, he's been with me for 8 or 9 months at this point, so for him to play a flashy piece like that is really exciting. Okay, so let's break it apart. It's built upon this A minor triad, but the A minor triad played as an arpeggio, so separated broken notes here. And I would first have the student just play that triad, getting the fingers right, 5, 3, 1 in the left hand, and then 1, 3, 5 on that arpeggio, so that they get used to this motion from left to right. And then you might have them practice the left coming over to hit the root of that chord at the top, the A. Do that a couple of times so they get used to that motion. And then you'll want to show them the beginning of the piece is built upon that A minor triad, starting very low on the piano, followed by the right hand A minor triad, left hand crosses, right hand under, and so that was a total of 4 triads played as an arpeggio. So left, right, left, right. And then have them do that, and they'll pick it up pretty quickly. After they've played those 4 arpeggios, teach them the next portion of the song, or that phrase, the B and the D sharp. This is a third, played as quarter notes, the third on a B and a D sharp, followed by the blocked A minor triad. And show that to them a couple of times. A minor, the third, blocked A minor triad. Now the cool thing is that entire phrase repeats. And look, they've already learned a fourth of the song, because the first part's built upon these A minor triads, and that third to the blocked triad, and it repeats. And remind them to play slowly, and they can gain speed as they learn the piece. Now, the next thing you want to do is point out that you can build a triad upon any note, right? It's just the root, a third, and a fifth. Well, now we're going to build that triad on D minor. So we have the notes D, F, A. And then say, you know, you've got your left hand playing the first broken triad, and then the right hand, left hand crosses over, right hand crosses under, but instead of playing the triad again, it just lands on the root of that triad. So you get D, and the right hand plays the root, and then you go back to the A minor triad and you do that same very motion, ending with the root on top with the right hand. Demonstrate again to them. D minor, root on top, A minor, with root on top. And then have them play that very slowly a couple of times. Then you put it all together from the top. So you start with this low A minor triad, pattern on the B and D sharp, A minor triad, that repeats. D minor triad, A minor triad, root on top. And now they've learned half of the song, really a little over half. Now, the next triad you're going to teach them, and because you're going to get the sheet music, you'll see this. The next chord is E major. Now, there's a big difference, right, between an E major chord and a D minor chord. Well, first and foremost, the notes, but also this black note in the middle, the G sharp. So you'll want to take a minute to explain the G sharp. Now, don't go too heavy on the theory here. Remember, it's all about patterns. Rote piano teaching is great because you're getting students used to playing more of the instrument. It's more exciting, more interesting. Plus, it's teaching their little fingers to move quicker and more efficiently. You're building strength and dexterity in those little hands. Okay, so the next triad is built upon the next portion is built upon the E major triad. So you have E to G sharp, B, followed by the the right hand. Then the left hand takes over the right hand's chord, and it does it again right here. And you cross over with the left hand to this fun clashing dissonance between the D and the E. Show it to them a couple of times. E major chord, left hand, right hand, left hand takes over, left hand takes over, end with the dissonance at the top. Now that's the entire piece right there. What happens now is you repeat all the way to the beginning, and then the ending changes, and the ending is pretty simple but flashy and fun. So up until this point, the student has learned how to play the entire piece for the most part. So then you have them play it slowly from the top. A minor, crossing over, the third pattern, and the triad repeats. Third pattern, blocked A minor chord, now to the D minor triad. Right hand on the root to the A minor triad. Right hand on the root, and here's that E major triad. Left hand takes over. One more time, end with the dissonance on the top. And then you say, hey, little Johnny, little Susie. I always use those two names for students that don't exist in my studio. You go back to the top and play it again. But this time you need to take over and show them that it's the same thing again. And when you finally get to the end, you teach them the ending, which sounds like this. The E major triad takes over, left hand takes over. Left hand crosses over with the 2 and 3. Very specific. You want to use the 2 and 3 fingers here because this gets your hands set up for the ending of the piece using all 5 fingers. So you have the D and the E, F, E, D, C, B. That's the pattern. Now watch this. Right hand under. E, F, E, D, C, B. 2 on E. Right hand on the A, and then a very low A. So again, that pattern, which is actually the left hand. Left hand, E, F, E, D, C, B. I like the right hand crossing over to the A, and then left hand low A. Or you could use the lowest A on the piano. So then you demonstrate what the very, very end of the piece looks like with that entire pattern, where the left hand takes over, left hand takes over, crosses for the 2 and 3, F, E, D, C, B, right, left, right crosses over to the A, and then A. And then I tell you this, once they've practiced that a couple times and they feel really good on the piece, you can show them what it looks like fast. And then their eyes get really wide and they get excited. Left takes over, dissonant, A minor. Repeats. Left on D minor, A minor. I added the octave there. You can just do the low A2 depending on the size of the student's hands. So there you go. That's how to teach this piece very easily by rote. And it might take 2 lessons depending on the age of the student, maybe 3. In fact, I recommend that. For beginners, teach this in 2 or 3 lessons. Intermediate students will probably pick it up by the end of 1 lesson. But they practice it all week long, and they come back, and little kids who have been playing the method books, you know, little pieces like this that are important, built upon just the 5-finger C scale, are now playing, you know, flashy A minor chords. Now, again, we're not worried about teaching them theory concepts yet or getting really thorough and deep there. It's all about building strength and dexterity in the fingers. So I know you'll enjoy teaching this to your students, and you'll love having that sheet music.